Selamat datang everyone di acara mingguan harian ya? Harian.
Daily. Woi, daily English day. Oh iya. Ya.
Selamat datang di acara praktek Inggris kita, di mana kita sekarang kembali mengulangi pembahasan di mana kita mengulangi proses belajar bahasa Inggris kita
dengan hal-hal yang random, topik-topik yang random, dan ini it's not scripted ya. Jadi kalau audiens di luar sana yang mengira ini direncanakan, it's totally not gitu.
Ya. Jadi unique value acaranya adalah dimana kita berusaha untuk belajar bahasa Inggris, sekaligus untuk ya sedikit-sedikit memperkenalkan produk kita lah. Jadi ada sedikit bisnis, yaitu memperkenalkan orang untuk membaca SpesialNet, tapi di lain fungsi gitu. Di lain tempat kita,
di lain sisi.
kita sekaligus berusaha mengambil manfaat dari apa yang kita sukai gitu ya. Tentang English language, tentang diskusi bahasa Inggris dan segala yang
bisa bukan berarti senang bukan berarti jago ya.
Ya. Jadi kita ingin bersenang-senang sekaligus belajar gitu lah. Semoga belajar pengetahuan kita, dan semoga dengan semakin sering kita melatih kemampuan kita, maka bahasa kita mungkin lebih bagus, dan mungkin di masa depan di mana kita membutuhkannya kita udah siap dengan segala apapun tantangannya. Nah, kita ada pengalaman dengan proses gagal ini gitu.
Betul.
Kita di sini akan melanjutkan seksi praktis kita minggu lalu, yaitu praktis episode 13. Di sini kita akan bicara tentang top scientific ways to hack social situation, atau dalam bahasa gampangnya 10 cara efektif untuk mencairkan suasana. Kayak suasana kerja, suasana dengan lawan jenis, suasana kencan, and whatever you like.
Pokoknya berinteraksi dengan orang lain. Intinya seperti itu ya.
Karena kita berdua IPA IPS dulu.
IPA.
Saya of course IPS, dan sebagai anak IPS seharusnya kita sudah terbiasa dengan hal ini, tapi saya tidak pernah mendapatkan pelajaran ini kayaknya di sekolah.
Nggak ada. Ketika
saya sekolah IPS, saya juga kayaknya hampir tidak ingat pelajaran sosial apa yang saya ingat.
Sosiologi, ingat nggak?
Ingat, tapi nggak ada gini.
Emang tidak ada.
Jadi gimana gesturnya di depan orang jabatnya lebih tinggi atau lebih tua.
Tapi kalau misalnya menurut saya di sosial juga tidak, kan sosial itu pelajarannya apa aja? Sosiologi, sejarah, ekonomi, geografi, akuntansi. Cuman itu kan? Ada nggak? Nggak ada ya?
Kayaknya
nggak ada ya? Di kelas jurusan social class, oke? Dan tidak ada topik untuk menjelaskan bagaimana untuk berinteraksi dengan orang lain. Di 5 subjek itu tuh nggak ada. Akuntansi jelas tidak dong. Sosiologi juga interaksinya ada, cuman bukan untuk berinteraksi. Bukan berinteraksi dengan orang gitu. Kita mempelajari sikap, itu kan kalau sosiologi ya. Ketika untuk berinteraksinya tidak diajarkan, seingat saya ya. Kemudian sejarah tentu tidak, geografi juga tidak, dan yang lain juga tidak gitu. Mungkin paling mendekati sosiologi sih. Paling mendekati gitu aja.
Tapi kayaknya sosiologi itu kita seperti baca buku panduan manual HP gitu. Jadi
ya semua juga gitu sih. Pelajaran juga gitu teori.
Tapi kayak nggak terlalu dipakai.
Kayak ini, Anda tahu PMP? Ya, PPKN lah kalau sekarang ya. Jadi misalnya ada pertanyaan apa yang harus kita lakukan ketika kita melihat teman kita yang sedang sedih. Di situ ada A, B, C, D, dan 3-nya ngaco. Pasti satu itu dong. Seperti itu ya. Itu cuman seperti apa ya, teori, dan betul tadi kayak misalnya manual book gitu ya. For one device gitu. Device is our life. Nah, ketika kita menerapkan itu di sosial masyarakat, ya mungkin bisa kita lakukan atau mungkin tidak juga gitu sebenarnya.
We basically doing what other people already did, atau kata orang tua atau
iya kan,
mereka gitu.
Iya.
berpatokan kepada sikap yang diajarkan di sekolah.
Betul.
Okay, so we're gonna read it down. These scientific ways to hack social situation, and then we're going to discuss it later.
Okay, let's begin this topic. This is episode 13, yeah?
Yes, episode 13.
Top 10 scientific ways to hack social situations.
Yes.
Okay. Even if we choose to spend most of our time staring at a screen, humans are inherently social creatures. Social interaction still forms an important part of our day-to-day lives.
Yes.
Whether it's with colleagues at work, family at home, or strangers on the internet.
Yes.
10 surprising ways to hack your body.
No, it is.
Sorry. That's another link, yeah?
Another link, yeah. Okay.
While some people seem to be naturally good at understanding social cues and carrying a perfect conversation, for the more introverted of us out there, it may not be easy.
Yes.
Thankfully, and possibly due to scientists generally being introverts as well, science has come up with quite a few hacks you can use the next time you find yourself stuck in a social situation.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, number 10. Feet don't lie. This is the position of your legs and feet.
Yeah.
Most people think of the eyes to be the best indicator of what someone is feeling. And they're not entirely wrong. Eyes are capable of expressing a ridiculously wide range of emotions, though it's also quite easy for most people to fake them. Yes. If you want to know what someone's really feeling in casual conversation at a party, according to science, at least look at their feet.
Yes.
While we're perfectly capable of faking emotions with most other parts of the body, the veil aren't easy to fool at all. You can't tell if someone is stressed, humiliated, humbled, shy, lethargic, horny. We can see someone is horny from their eyes. Angry.
On the leg, what?
Huh? Angry or nervous? Just by looking at their legs. Their legs or feet, as we have the control over it.
Yeah.
For example, someone uncrossing his legs or turning his feet to point away from you is likely feeling a sense of discomfort. Ya juga sih. As his brain has already started making subconscious preparations to.
Okay. Number 9, take a cup of hot coffee to your next interview. The internet is full of advice on what to do to prepare for an interview, depending on the source. It may be anything from color coordinating your clothes to trying to sleep with someone related to the interview. What? Sleeping with to try to sleep with someone related to the interviewer? Okay, none of it works though.
Makanya dong.
As interviewers are usually looking for quick decision-making abilities and confidence, and rarely preparedness. The best way you can ace an interview is by knowing what you are talking about, but also warming your hands up before the handshake. If that sounds random, it isn't. Studies have found that warmth can make someone kinder and more generous towards you, while they don't know exactly why it happens. It may be a vestige from our early days. Shared warmth would have, at some point, helped us establish closer relationship with other people, which would have, in turn, helped keep us all alive. That's something new for me, but I have a different opinion. I think coldness or cold feet or cold hand is the perfect situation for me. After I try to make my room colder, it seems I can control my mood better.
Okay.
Feel like I'm less stressed when I deal with a new challenge or a new setback. I feel I can control my mood. Yeah, I'm just calmer because I got cold. My body is thinking, maybe my brain is working to warm my body. So when stress hit me, I feel like, ini lebih penting nih. Yeah, but I try to warm my body again gitu. Maybe gitu. According to you, do you have any?
But it affects you, after you did this gitu.
Yeah, because I feel like another benefit of this cold situation is maybe my brain is too busy to make my body warm gitu. Jadi kalau ada stress itu kayak ini lebih penting gitu. Jadi nggak terlalu ignore gitu. But any other social cues or social reflection or gesture that you learn because you are MC and your gesture is very important part of your job.
Yeah. If you talk about gestures, whatever we do in front of audience as master of ceremony, it helps our verbatim.
Apa tuh verbal?
Verbatim, verbal. Verbal. Our words. Okay. These verbatims are supported by our gesture. For example, if I say that, so my gesture will be like this, right? And then if I say this, so my gesture will be like this. So the function of gesture, when I teach about public speaking, is to support your verbatims. Is to support your verbals, your sentences.
Like a bold.
Like a bold. Yeah. So when we bold the word, or we call it stressing.
Yes.
When we stress one word, the important one, so it will be much more tighter, apa namanya? Will have more impact or more effect to the audience when we use our gesture like this. And then gesture depends on the person. Okay, so if I have gesture like this, it's just reflex movements. Stand-up comedians will have, let's say, unique gesture when they are on the stage. Like one stand-up comedian will be delivering the materials by having this movement. Okay, and the other one can have So this gesture helps us to deliver the materials.
Lebih ngena gitu ya.
For the audience, because of course, as stand-up comedian, we must make them have theater of mind. They must imagine, they must understand how to deliver the materials. The better way is to have this gesture. Gitu. When we are public speaker, I mean, it's not only about stand-up comedy gitu, master of ceremony, teacher, okay, even teacher, has to use these gestures to, to make the delivery stronger.
Now I wonder how you deliver your message, or your stress, or how you stress your message or your main points if most of the audience cannot see or blind, for instance.
Okay, the blinds don't mean they are deaf, right? Yeah, so it means that they can still hear. Itu. Nah, but the deaf is another problem, right? If the audience are the deaf.
Kupikir malah lebih susah yang buta daripada yang tuli. Gitu.
Yeah, the blinds can still hear when we deliver it with our verbatims, right? I mean, we have voice gitu to hear by the audience of, let's say, the blinds. But the deafs, it's I have never had the deafs as my audience, and also the blinds, gitu. But I think if you ask me about the blinds, the deafs which have disabilities, right, also, I think the blinds are easier to get the information from us than the deafs, because the deafs have to understand materials from
sign language.
Body language or sign languages, right? I don't learn about that, right? Or there is interpreter. Interpreter. I mean, interpreter or someone who is with me on the stage. If I have audience like that, so there must be someone to deliver my verbatims and then transfer to this interpreter and then transfer to the audience, right? So there will be a late delivery, of course. Blah 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 blah. They will not understand first, and then the interpreter will and then they will understand after the second way. it happened to Mo Sidik. Mo Sidik, yeah, of course you know Mo Sidik, yeah, stand-up comedian. He had ever done stand-up comedy in mana itu namanya? Not Palestine. Aduh, mana ya?
Jangan konflik.
Iya lah. Middle East country lah ya. I forget the country. He did his stand-up comedy in English. But the audience did not understand English. Okay. And as far as I remember, in that country, there are 2 languages used by the people. Okay. So there were 2 interpreters. A language and B language, let's say, I forget the name of language. One of them, if I'm not mistaken, is Urdu. Urdu language. Urdu and bla bla gitu ya. Adalah Urdu ya, Urdu. Urdu negara apa ya? Pernah dengar ya? Urdu ya? Oke. Urdu language and bla bla language. Nah, so Mo Sidik delivered his material in English ya. Bla 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 bla. The audience was
Mikir dulu.
Not understand.
Processing.
Yeah, did not understand. Yeah, they could not process because they did not understand, right? What they wanted to understand kan? What they wanted to process. There was nothing to process kan? Okay. They just said, right? And then apa namanya?
Interpreter.
Watch. No, watch Mo Sidik, right? But they didn't understand, right? Nah, and then the first interpreter from a language, for example, from Urdu lah, firstnya, will translate it into that language. This side of audience laugh. Wah, this side no. Ya kan?
Yeah.
And then Mo Sidik just waited, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it worked. Okay. And then after this laugh, this side, this right side of audience laugh, and then this turn.
That's unique.
Itu aja terus.
Because last time I checked that kind of sign language is presenting rap. Di rap ada sign language.
Song? Rap song?
Rap song ya. Ada yang lain. Keren banget tapi keren banget. I think I've seen this.
But it's not in Indonesia.
No. I think sign language and rap. I think jadi ada sign language kayak gini lah, kayaknya ini rap god. Ini rap.
Oh, di rap god.
Jadi nge-rap sampai ada sign language-nya.
Eminem
loh. Gila kan lo? Rap god lagi ya. Padahal cepat.
Yeah, rap god is I think the fastest song of rap.
Lah. Gila.
But how about the audience? I mean no.
Apa?
Were the audience deaf?
Iya, emang deaf.
All of them?
Enggak, ada audiens yang itu untuk melayani yang deaf gitu.
Oh iya.
Jadi biar unik kan, nggak tahu biar unik kan bisa visual kan?
Di audiens berarti si Eminem ini prepared this interpreter gitu ya?
Yeah, exactly.
To deliver these sign languages because he knew there were some deafs.
Ada deaf yang dengerin gitu.
Oke. Kan bukan dengerin dong, nonton.
Oh, iya.
Kenapa deaf dengerin?
Ya.
Yang nonton.
Exactly. Anak teliti.
Ya.
Tapi keren juga sih ada konsep dan bener udah cepat. Ada ininya ya nggak tahu. Ada how.
So it means Eminem has deaf fans ya?
Pasti ya. Itu yang aneh.
But
mungkin
Eminem,
baca di
yeah. I mean in the CD gitu, in the CD or cassette maybe. It's just only voice, right?
Bukannya dia teksnya, lirik.
Iya, but voice gitu.
Voice apa? Oh iya,
ya kan how did they listen gitu maksudnya. Dia kedengarannya gimana? Ya kan nggak ada yang orang gini-gini kan? Ya kan?
Ya.
How they enjoy it gitu? I don't understand.
Enjoy apa? Lagunya apa?
Kagak kedengeran juga namanya juga.
Iya makanya lagu kan enak karena itu ya kan ada melodinya, ada
nada. Iya kan? Iya. If they did not have the interpreter like this in the CD ya, in the concert it is possible. In the CD, if they came to this concert, it means they are the fan. I think ya, they are fan, die hard fan maybe.
Nah, fungsinya dia apa gitu ya?
Fungsi interpreter in this concert, ya to interpret the lyrics from Eminem. But I don't understand how the deafs can be fan of Eminem gitu loh. Can be fan of gini deh, can like a song deh gitu deh, can like music deh.
Oh iya benar.
Nah gitu maksudnya gitu, gimana sob? Gimana?
I don't know.
Ya kan?
You have to ask.
Iya makanya we don't understand how the deafs can enjoy the music. If they come to concert and the concert provides interpreter like this, yeah, it's possible. But when they want to enjoy the music by cassette or CD, how?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know the answer of that question. Because they are huge fan and then they're listening Eminem reputation from social media maybe, and then they find out who is the Eminem is gitu. Mungkin dia tarik Eminem karena credibility-nya gitu. Dia rap god, the best rap in the world maybe, and then the message is related to them gitu, sebagai kaum minoritas yang direndahkan, yang dibully mungkin ya dari
from the lyric.
Mungkin dari bulinya, mungkin dari lirik yang mereka baca itu membuat mereka semangat dan merasa hidup lebih menarik. I don't know, mungkin dari memang message-nya mungkin lah, nggak pernah baca liriknya Eminem sih. Dan kalau dia baca mungkin dia relevan gitu. Oh ini kayak memotivasi dia gitu. Dari siapa sih yang ngomong dia nikmatin karena benar. Maybe sih so good gitu. Kan ada rap sampah kan ya. Banyak rap nggak ada, cuma lagu-lagu aneh kayak udah message-nya acak-acakan, message-nya nggak jelas gitu. Isinya cuma omong-omong gitu doang. Tapi kan mungkin ini so good gitu. Jadi message-nya bagus, mungkin mereka akhirnya defense berat gitu. Mungkin gitu. I don't know. Have you ever read Eminem lyric?
No.
Ever? Enggak suka rap.
I like rap. You know Pesta Rap?
No.
Indonesian album in 90s, 95, 96 lah.
Oh.
Pesta Rap itu Cewek Matre. Nah, Cewek Matre was in that compilation album of Pesta Rap. If you Google it or on YouTube ada deh. Pesta Rap 1 and Pesta Rap 2, 95, 96 if I'm not mistaken.
Nanti tuh?
Pesta Rap album gitu aja.
Oh.
Nah itu tuh. I have the cassette.
I see.
No, 95 kan? Cewek matre.
Oh my god, this so old.
Ke laut aja. And in 90s, I think the boys of 90s has the ability of rapping. When we watch Kerasakti. Kerasakti tak pernah berhenti, bertindak sesuka hati. And the singer of that Kerasakti was in the compilation of this album too.
Oh, I see.
I forget the name. Pokoknya ada angka 31 lah apa namanya. Pesta Rap 1 or 2 gitu.
That was pretty interesting in Practice 13 part 1 everyone. I think we're going to a little bit continue with this next part 2 after this little bit break. Have you enjoyed what you just discussed about rap, about
about rap sih? About like gesture?
Yeah, and rap and sign language and whatever gitu.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting and brand new for me too. Thank you for your attention in this part 1, and thanks you again in part 2. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay.